The lone referee working tonight. And the linesman Lonnie Cameron, Troy Sarnison, the officiating crew, and we are underway. Fourth and final meeting of the regular season. The LA Kings managed to get 3 of 4 possible points in St. Louis, while the club going into that game had a 3-game winless streak. Just the second time this season they've gone as many. It sounds funny to say as many as 3 games without a win, but that's how consistent they have been. And right now the Blues facing a Los Angeles King power play that was 0 for 3 in Anaheim in their last game. They have struggled a bit with the man advantage. Here was Stumple, who takes it across the line. He'll send it back to the line. Gary Galley now across the blue line far side. The captain, Rob Blake, his shot does not get through. We should mention that Ziggy Palffy, who left late in the game at Anaheim with a shoulder injury, is not in the lineup tonight, Brian, and word is he may be lucky to be back for the opening game of the first round of the playoffs.
A man who's never been in the playoffs yet. They'd love to have him right now and playing well going into the playoffs, but they'll take Ziggy whenever they can get him. Unfortunately, yeah, he does have a bad shoulder right now, and it will be at least a couple of weeks before he's back.
Pronger sends it all the way down, and as tough as it's been for the LA power play, look at this St. Louis penalty killing. They have stopped 60 of the last 63 opponent chances. A pass ahead for Robitaille, and that was whistled down by the linesman.
Luc Robitaille has had another strong season. The guy who said it was too slow to play in the National Hockey League. Over 500 career goals. You get him inside the blue line, get him anywhere near the puck, and he can finish it off. 9 goals and 13 assists in just his last 19 games. In terrific shape. Got off to a real strong start this year.
Yes, he did.
And it made all the difference in the world. And there's Andy Murray, who appreciates his efforts. First season behind the bench of the Los Angeles Kings for Andy Murray, and he has done a fine job with these guys too. Everybody since the very first day has known what exactly that Andy Murray expects from them.
Well, you expect a few up and downs during the long course of a National Hockey League season, and Andy Murray's club has been pretty consistent as well. They have an outstanding record, 12 wins, 6 losses, 2 ties over the last 20. That's one of the best in the National Hockey League. And they have moved up to currently occupy 5th in the Western Conference standings. They have not mathematically clinched a playoff position, but it looks all but certain that they'll be someplace in the playoff picture when things begin in the second full week in April. Here is Pronger now for the shorthanded Blues, working it ahead. It's backhanded by Mike Eastwood all the way down the ice. And Storr coming out to move it ahead to try to speed things along for the LA Kings, who still have 20 seconds remaining on this power play. Pass intended for Smolinski was knocked away. Yaroslav Modry out at center ice. Hands it off for Blake. Perhaps time for one more rush into the blue zone. But Jeff Finley, who did not dress in Phoenix the other night with a sore groin, back in the lineup tonight. He clears it for the Blues.
Well, the Kings not getting anything going here on this power play in the early stages. St. Louis has been so hot killing penalties. It gives them a big advantage in the early stages of this game, having just killed this one off with only 1 second to go. Now, there's been a lot of strengths for the St. Louis club. Playing with a lead has been one of them. Joe Quenneville said we don't give up much once we get ahead of the opposition. I mean, Dave, they've got 4 lines that are extremely fast. They're excellent at cycling. They spin out of the corners offensively and take it to the net as well or better with 4 lines, I think, than anybody else in the National Hockey League. So the Kings are going to have their work cut out for them because they don't want these St. Louis Blues to jump out to an early lead.
And, of course, the Blues have been without their top scorer, Pierre Turgeon, and part of the reason you can get along without a top scorer is when you have a team defensive philosophy and a goaltender that's back there. And look at the jump they made. That's what's so impressive. Not just the great overall number of 2.02, but they were up over 2.5 goals a game, so they've shaved nearly a half a goal per game off their goals against. Brian, you know, as a former defenseman, that is huge over the course of the season.
It really is. And yes, they are a stronger team all the way around. And Roman Turek does deserve an awful lot of credit. People are saying, well, he's playing on a team that's great defensively, you know, and it's not all him. I'll tell you what, he has been the biggest difference overall, I think, in this hockey club because he's given them the big saves at the right time, which they didn't have as often last season.
Here was Rieser now. Rieser had that great game in Phoenix, sending it toward the net. That never got all the way through. It's backhanded into the corner. Bartetska was there. Now Pavel Demitra. Demitra tied up, and the Kings get to it. They clear it all the way down the ice. And the veteran defenseman Dave Ellett back to touch it up. Well, we mentioned the other night, too, that numbers don't always tell the story, Brian, but these numbers are just incredible for the St. Louis Blues.
Goals against average first, shutouts tied for first, shots allowed first. I mean, shots allowed, I mean, it starts right there. Shots is only one indication, but when you consistently keep the shot numbers down, you know you're keeping the scoring chances down, too. Scoring chances is really what it's all about. But I think it's a defense that's really come around in a big way. They got surprises playing back there, like Todd Reardon, who came out of nowhere. Jeff Finley's had a great year. Bergevin's had a comeback year. And, of course, you got the two blue guys with Pronger and McGinnis.
Marco Tuomainen, who wears number 12 for the Kings, lobs it back toward the St. Louis Blues zone. McGinnis has it there and hands it off. Pass intended there for Stephane Richer was behind him. And Ian LaPerriere dumps it along the boards back behind the St. Louis goal. And now McGinnis will settle it down there. Jamal Mayer's had it knocked away. And here is Craig Johnson. Johnson across the line. He had it taken away from him. Richer had it, then lost it. Now Jochen Hecht, number 17 for the Blues, able to clear it back into the Kings zone.
The Kings really having trouble penetrating that St. Louis Blue line. They get a lot of support from their forwards. The St. Louis Blue defensemen stand up very well. And once they get inside, they're so efficient. Al McGinnis leads the way here. Pronger probably second on the list. First pass coming out of the zone is always so good. It's hard to get sustained attack inside St. Louis's end.
Pascal Rayom finding Dimitra. Now trying to spin away from some pressure. Look to send it back to Dimitra. That was blocked by Blake. Rolls back in front of Jamie Storr, but the Kings in good position defensively to clear it back the other way. Drop pass here for Blake. He snaps a shot that hit a body in front. Rayom for the Blues clears it all the way out to center ice. Dimitra has it there. Pavel Dimitra across the line, tried to feed it on the right side to Eastwood. Blues get it back. Here's Pronger winding up for a shot. That ends up well into the seats behind Jamie Storr. And out of play. Well, let's take a look at our Bud Light plus-minus leaders, and no surprise that two of the St. Louis Blues on top there, first and third. Pronger with a plus 42. Dimitra at plus 29. Chris Chelios of the Red Wings second at plus 40.
Well, St. Louis is extremely strong in all aspects of the game. Certainly 5-on-5 is one of them. There's Marc Bergevin. He's up there on the list as well, too. If we extended the list on down, right, you'd see another 2 or 3 or 4 St. Louis guys in the top 10. Jeff Finley's on that list as well.
Bergevin at plus 27, Finley at plus 26, and the linesman Lonnie Cameron just got stung by a puck. Bad break for him, but a good break for the Kings because the Blues couldn't get it in deep, and that allows Glenn Murray now to hand it off to Smolinski. He had both of the LA goals in that exciting 2-2 tie in Anaheim the other night. Here is Murray now trying to send it across for Nelson Emerson, one of the 2 acquisitions from the Atlanta Thrashers. Nelson Emerson coming over, of course, along with Kelly Buchberger the day before the trade deadline. Up the boards now, Scott Young, number 48 for the Blues. Got a piece of it, but could not clear. Now it comes again in towards Roman Turek. He has the big glove down on top of it, and he'll hang on to it there.
Well, you mentioned Nelson Emerson, acquired at the trading deadline. He's going to basically replace Donald Audette on this second line for the LA Kings. He'll be with Smolinski and Glenn Murray probably most of the time. Excellent hands, good speed. Talked to him a little bit today, Dave, and he's happy. I mean, he didn't know the trade was coming, so it shocked him. It was not too long ago. He just bought a house in Atlanta on the golf course.
Always the kiss of death.
Yep. So he's back here now, but he's pretty happy about it. He said his wife was born and raised here, and until the high school age she lived here, so she'll be happy to come back. And that was Nelson Emerson going to the net.
Of course, Nelson Emerson, a product of the U.S. collegiate hockey scene, played at Bowling Green, was a teammate and a roommate of Rob Blake, who plays for the L.A. Kings as well.
Yeah, they're good buddies. He's happy about that, too.
Here's a turnover. Bilesma with a chance, and a blocker save made there by Turek. Here comes Blake in from the point. He holds it into the corner. Jesus there for the Blues, tried to clear. It is slapped at and recovered now by Bergevin, and he smartly goes back into his own zone to buy a little space. And hands it off now for Bartechko, number 23. Onto the slow back pack. They're out there together. Big hit by Blake on the far side. Well, you talked about that, Brian, at the very top of the show. Both these big defensemen in this game, Blake and Pronger, are so versatile and can do a lot of things. But Blake, boy, what a hitter.
He is the best open ice hitter in the game, and along the wall, too. I mean, you have to be aware that he's out there because he knows you're there. And Bartechko knows he's there right now.
Penalty coming here against the LA Kings, and it's going to go against Buchberger. Kelly Buchberger wearing number 9 in an LA uniform, and he is going to go to the box, so the St. Louis Blues will get an opportunity. They're first in this game with a man advantage.
Well, I believe it happened just inside the zone. Looks like maybe a hooking call on Kelly Buchberger as the puck is dumped in. Yep, number 9 in purple. Pulls down his man, and then Rob Blake, watch this. Watch how he closes this gap. Bartechko sees him coming way too late. The big backside comes across. devastating, 225 pounds, and he closes that last 10 or 15 feet, Dave, and just sort of sucks people into the vortex and whack.
Well, he loves to play the physical game. He's had his share of injury problems the last couple of years, but if they can keep him healthy, they'll be a force in the Western Conference. Here's Pronger with a chance. That was knocked down in front by Galley. We watched Chris Pronger the other night on ESPN2 score a couple of goals in the third period, and two very different goals. One from the point, the other one he ended up at the side of the net like a forward. Here was Pronger out at the line trying to get it toward the net, deflected just wide, picked up by Richer. Out to the line now for Elliott. Good job to hold it in. In deep for Hecht. Hecht looking in front for Riesner, and it was just in on the heel of his stick. Good job though to control it. Tried to send it across on the far side for Richer, and that hit a skate. Puck comes free, and Smolinski able to clear it.
A good sustained pressure in the early stages of this power play. The Los Angeles Kings penalty killing, especially at home, has struggled, and St. Louis has definitely a leg up in this department to take advantage of it.
Puck is dumped back behind the LA goal. Kings get to it first, though. It'll be held in by McGinnis. McGinnis to the net. That deflected off of Handzus and just wide of Storr. Matthias Nordstrom now plays it along the boards, and Bilesma always working hard, able to clear it past McGinnis and back into the Blues end. Now McGinnis drives it along the boards back behind the LA goal. It is tipped there by Handzus. He recovers to send it out to the point for McGinnis. Still 35 seconds left on this power play. McGinnis and Pronger out there manning the point on this power play. Another penalty coming against the LA Kings. The Blues don't realize it yet. Now maybe they do. Turek going to the bench for the extra attacker. Now to just let the Kings touch it, and now it is touched. There's still 23 seconds left in the Buchberger minor penalty, and we're going to see a 5-on-3 opportunity coming up as the Kings gathering around Paul Dvorsky to ask for an explanation.
And Chris Pronger's a little bit upset. He looked like he was in there getting a couple of words with Jamie Storr as well.
Yeah, you know what? It happened near the crease, and I'm not sure that it wasn't Storr that maybe reached out with the big goal stick.
Well, we'll see if we can pick it up and figure out exactly what happened down low. Pronger starts it out from the point and throws it down towards the net. A stick comes up there and catches him in the face. That's Bobby Corkum, and that's where the penalty was. And then pushing and shoving, as is normal, in the blue paint area. Scott Young for the St. Louis Blues didn't realize that there was a penalty call right away.
Right.
They used up 4 or 5 seconds. You're right, Dave. They should have given it to Los Angeles Kings right away, and they would have had more time, an extra couple of seconds on this 5-on-3.
So obviously the penalty that I thought happened in the crease area with that stuff going on there with Jamie Storr was not the call. It was Corkum slashing at Pronger, and it ends up being a double minor penalty. So a huge opportunity for the St. Louis Blues. And the Blues on the power play so far this season not faring as well as they did last year when they were up over 20%. But the Kings have struggled in terms of their special teams. We mentioned the power play, second worst in the NHL in penalty killing percentage on their home ice. That's something that'll have to improve.
Oh, it's got to improve big time in these games down the stretch, and in the playoffs. They will be in the playoffs. That has to get a whole lot better if they have a chance of going anywhere.
Here is Pronger. Pronger gives it off to McGinnis. 5 seconds left on the 2-man advantage. Here is Riesner back to McGinnis. Good defensive read by Blake. Used that long reach to break it up. Now it comes to Pronger. Sends it in deep for Richer. Buchberger is out of the box. Kings get to it and they clear. And it's now a 5-on-4 advantage for the St. Louis Blues. And 3.5 minutes up on the clock for the double minor called against Corkum.
That was a big play by Rob Blake there because he stopped that pass. It would have been a big one-timer. The best chance that St. Louis would have had on the 5-on-3 situation. Now at least you have a better chance when you're out there 5-on-4, albeit for over 3 minutes here for the Kings, but like one problem at a time here.
Another good clear by the short-handed LA Kings, and McGinnis back to get it. And it comes to center ice now. Here is Handzus with it. He'll carry it across the line. The big 6'5 centerman comes back, bouncing puck. Pronger couldn't hold it. Oh, he is hit by Leperrier. And then Handzus goes back, and Leperrier, the penalty was going to be called against Leperrier, but I give Handzus credit. I mean, that's one of those situations where your first thought is don't take a penalty when you're going to get another 2.
A little bit rougher, but you can't take penalties like that. Leperrier got carried away there. That was a dangerous play.
St. Louis Blues were arguing for more than just matching 2-minute minors on Handzus and Leperrier, but that is all that is called. That puck takes a strange bounce off of one of the partitions, and the Kings unable though to take advantage to clear. McGinnis hands it off. Hesh now top of the circle, sends it in deep. Barteshko bobbling the puck a bit. Oh, big hit by Blake on Barteshko. He may be slow to get up. Blake is talking to him right now to see if he's okay. Dvorsky, I think now is going to blow the whistle.
Yep. Rob Blake hits with such force. He knew he'd hurt him right away. Obviously, he's sitting right on top of the guy, so he probably heard the guy make whatever noise he might have made, and Blake would know right away. I mean, he just crumpled into the boards. It's hard to really describe exactly what it's like when Blake makes contact. He's so big and so strong, but there's something about his ability to transfer that into the hit. And it's like getting hit twice, once by Blake and then once by the boards here for Barteshko.
Well, you may have been able to read the lips of Joe Quenneville. He's saying it's automatic. Doesn't matter. Actually, from that angle, it looked like just more of a shove, and it was almost like a delayed reaction. And right away, like you said, Rob Blake knew, and we'll see right here. See, he turns around to see if he's okay.
Yeah, and Barteshko's not moving at all. He did turn around. He had his back to Blake, and Blake just pushed him so hard. You don't get a real sense of it, you know, on slow motion. But the good thing for Barteshko is that he turned his shoulder so he wouldn't go face first in. Let's take a look at it this time, real speed. Now you get a little better idea of what that felt like for Barteshko. Looks like he's okay, thank goodness. And you saw Joel Quenneville was plenty upset. He's got the referee over there right now. What's going on? My guys are getting run from behind all over the place here. I can't have this.
Well, a reminder, tomorrow the NHL is on ABC. Regional coverage of regular season action begins Saturday. Detroit is at Colorado, a great rivalry, the best many say in the National Hockey League, and two teams that are very hot right now. The Rangers in Philadelphia to take on the Flyers, Pittsburgh and Boston to take on the Bruins. Saturday at 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific. Check your local listings for the game in your area. The National Hockey League on ABC, the home of the Stanley Cup. Well, the puck is cleared back the other way as we'll keep an eye on Barteshko to see how soon he returns. St. Louis Blues, Brian, have had all these power play opportunities. They still do not have a shot on goal. Amy Storr able to play it up the glass. McGinnis holds it in, shovels it along now for Pavel Demitra. Inside 2 minutes left in the double minor that was originally up on the board there for Corkum. Big hit by Nordstrom. Matthias Nordstrom tries to clear. Demitra under some pressure from Blake. Good work there. Good work between Nordstrom and Blake. As good a tandem. Talk about chemistry, Brian. There's great chemistry between those two guys.
Those guys have been playing together for over 3 years now. They have a great feel for each other. They both read the play extremely well, and that was a nice play by Nordstrom to get that puck out of his zone.
Buckberger trying to buy some time, goes down on top of the puck. Blues able to dig it out of there. Here's McGinnis. McGinnis winds up, fakes the shot, winds up again. He'll let it go. Save made there by Storr. And finally, the St. Louis Blues are going to get credit for a shot on goal.
Al McGinnis said Kelly Buckberger dropped right in front of him, but McGinnis, even when he looks like he's looking down at the puck, he's always aware. Look at that fake. Buckberger's right down. McGinnis did a great job to control it, and he unleashed that big shot. A terrific save there in traffic by Jamie Storr, and Marty Reisner was real happy that one didn't hit him too. He was in front trying to put a screen on Jamie Storr, and even the St. Louis teammates of Al McGinnis don't want to get hit with the puck. The guy shoots it so hard.
Jamie Storr, who has become the #1 goaltender somewhat by default. All the power play time the Blues have had, and finally managed to get a shot on goal. Eastwood and Smolinski on those faceoffs. Smolinski controlling for the Kings. Buckberger now, veteran move there. He saw the opening, backhands it all the way down the ice.
That was a smart play by Buckberger. He knows where he is. He knows he's deep in the zone. If he turns it over at the blue line, that's his spot where he's supposed to be. So he put it right up the middle of the ice where he knew nobody would be.
Now Eastwood moves the puck along for the Blues power play. McGinnis has it. Longer now at the left point. Gives it back to McGinnis. Winds up, drives a shot. Save made by Storr. That one got all the way through. Batted out of the air. Good job by McGinnis to hold it in. Young now quickly for Hesh. Tries to roll it right out in front. And it's deflected and now cleared by Smolinski all the way down the ice.
Well, St. Louis has had flashes of keeping the puck inside the Kings zone on these power plays pretty well. But once they get into the scoring areas in the middle of the ice, the Kings have done a nice job of deflecting it away and then turning it over and getting it down.
Play was forced offside by a good work there by Bilesma.
Well, Jamie Storr is playing his best hockey of the season. Stefan Fiset is on the injured list. And Storr is kind of like, they have goalies 1 and 1A, and Storr being 1A. But he's played very strongly here, especially in the month of March. The Kings need him to continue to get better. He's more active outside of the net. There you see a nice kick pad save. So he's got the good low stick side going and the great glove hand going so far. And the two best tests against them by the St. Louis Blues up to this point.
Of goaltenders that have played at least 4 games in the month of March, we got the 2 goaltenders with the best goals against averages in the month of March. Turek with a 1.33 and Jamie Storr not far behind at 1.44, and he has done a great job since the injury to Fiset. LaPerriere turns it back the other way for Stumple. Stumple back to LaPerriere. We'll keep an eye on LaPerriere if he's ever out on the ice with Chris Pronger, because I'm sure Pronger's going to remember the truck that hit him. The crowd appreciating the penalty killing work as Corkum is out of the box. Here's Rayom with it now, sending it in deep for Dimitrov. Pavel Dimitrov circling the net, trying to put it out in front. It was blocked by the goaltender Storr. And it's backhanded ahead now. Here comes Jason Blake. No relation to Rob. Puck is batted down by the Blues' Todd Reardon, and Jason Blake comes back out and wraps it back behind the Blues goal. Backhanded by Turek. He didn't get much on that, but good recovery there by the defenseman Finley, and Scott Pellerin will clear for the Blues.
Well, the Kings have done themselves a big favor here with those big penalty kills. We mentioned at the beginning of the game here that St. Louis is so good. If you give them a lead, they protect it so well and just build on it. So the Kings didn't get themselves down after taking those couple of penalties.
Craig Conroy now puts it deep into the LA zone. Jamie Storr thought about coming out and playing that puck, but he got a teammate who got there. The Blues take it back. Scott Young, quick shot save. It was right there for Conroy. He missed it. Storr did not cover it up. Pellerin gets it back for the Blues. Picked up by Young. Young works his way free from Modre. Tried to get it across for the one-timer from Pellerin. It was taken away, and a lead pass now as Murray tries to get loose in the Blues zone. And St. Louis, even when it looks like they're going to give up a scoring chance, they close down so quickly. Here comes Nelson Emerson with a drive and a save by Turek. Penalty coming against St. Louis. I think it's going to go against Al McGinnis. Yes, it is. LA Kings are going to go on the power play. It is St. Patrick's Day in Southern California. Joe Quenneville and the Blues.
Al was more than a little upset as he entered the penalty box.
LA Kings second power play. They are 0 for 1. Blake winds up, drives a shot that hit Glenn Murray in front, and back come the Blues. A very dangerous short-handed team. They've got several players that have put points on the board shorthanded this season. Conroy hands it off now. Pellerin puts it in behind the goal, and Jamie Storr blocks it there. Just over 6.5 left in the first period of this one. St. Patrick's Day, Southern California. Glad you're with us on National Hockey Night. Dave Strader along with Brian Englund. Rob Blake hands it off now. Joseph Stumple. Stumple looking across under some pressure. There was nobody back at the point, and it's taken away now by Eastwood. Eastwood has Hanzus cutting for the net. The pass got through, and it was tipped just wide.
The Kings like to try a lot of different looks. Over the course of the season, they've done a lot of different things on their power play, and sometimes they get real sloppy. They can't afford to against these St. Louis Blues, Dave, as you pointed out. They have so many short-handed goals for. Kings can't afford to make any big mistakes inside the offensive zone. St. Louis goes right back the other way real quick.
Glenn Murray may have gotten away with holding the stick of Chris Pronger there for a couple of quick tugs. And here is Stumple with it now for the Kings as they spread out on the power play. Again, not a lot of movement. Finally, the puck goes to the line, and a shot to the net from a tough angle there, and it was well wide. That is Carolotti, number 8, Jari Carolotti. Fine young Finnish defenseman who will go back now along with Yaroslav Modry, playing the point on this power play here for Andy Murray with 25 seconds remaining in the man advantage. Carolotti carried it all the way in, and a couple of his teammates expected it to be dumped in. They were offside on the play.
Well, the Kings have been the St. Louis Blues have been pretty strong all year long in killing penalties. Tied for second in the NHL with 12 short-handed goals. They've got speed from all 4 lines. It doesn't matter who they're using killing penalties. They bust out of the zone, and they go for the juggler.
Well, the other side of you mentioned the LA Kings have had different looks on their power play. They've allowed 12 short-handed goals against. So that's not a good combination, not good chemistry, a good mix there as we talk about our chemistry theme with these two teams. And the Blues have had a couple of chances here in the early going with Short-handed situations as Modry dumps it along the boards behind Turek. Puck comes free. Kings have it. It rolls right in front of Turek, and he very calmly just poked it to Scott Pellerin right in front of him, and it's out to center ice. Al McGinnis is out of the box. And it's backhanded by Conroy of the Blues back into the LA zone. Modry sends it ahead. Out to center ice, taken by Craig Johnson. Johnson plays it ahead. It was knocked away. Collision over by the Blues bench. Craig Johnson rolls it back into the St. Louis zone. Roman Turek comes out, moves it quickly. Dave Ellett, who had a goal the other night in Phoenix, slides it ahead. That jumped over the stick of Bartechko, and it's going to be an icing call on the touch up here by the LA Kings. LA Kings looking to improve their position in the Western Conference, scoreless.
And they believe that they have the best locker room, and that's why they made a trade like the Stephane Richer deal, bringing him in thinking, well, we can bring in a guy with his kind of talent, and he'll be another bullet in our arsenal, and we'll make him accountable, and he'll love playing here, and it's a great theory, and it's working.
Well, remember, Stephane Richer was part of that 1995 Stanley Cup team with the New Jersey Devils, and he had to buy into a system there, so it seemed like a good fit, and it has been. For Richer and the Blues. Here's LaPerriere, makes a move, got around Pronger, but didn't cleanly have control of the puck. Rolls it back now to Amina. And a battle against Eastwood. Mike Eastwood plays it along the board. Penalty coming. And it's going to be a penalty against the St. Louis Blues. And guess who was out there together? It was Ian LaPerriere and Chris Pronger. Pronger's not going to forget the hit that was put on him earlier. And here's his reaction. And he's going to go to the box.
Penalty, and we'll show that to you again in a minute.
Face off deep in the blue zone, and St. Louis controlling the draw, but Gary Galley getting a skate on the puck. However, it's recovered by Bergevin of the Blues. He clears it all the way back into the LA zone. Rob Blake as the Kings go to work on the power play. St. Louis Blues with a 3-point lead for the top spot in the Western Conference. And a game in hand on Detroit here. Blake walking into a shot and just sails it wide on the glove side of Turek. Now Robitaille moves it along the board. Stumple in the far corner. Gives it back to Robitaille. Had it slapped away, but it goes right to the point for Blake. Rob Blake throws it back in deep. Jason Blake is there. Gets rid of it quickly for Robitaille. All the puck movement on the perimeter so far for the Kings here. Stumple tried to give it back to Robitaille, and it was blocked. Anticipated well by McGinnis, and he cleared. And Jason Blake took a run at McGinnis. Now Robitaille deflected it, but it's recovered by the Blues defenseman. Al McGinnis just hammers it all the way back down the ice.
The Kings not showing very much confidence in this power play in what they really want to do. They seem to be just sort of making it up from one instance to the next, and everywhere they look there's a white jersey in front of them. St. Louis doing a great job of taking the lanes away.
A rare bad pass by Blake. He was testing his stick after that. The reason the Blues didn't touch that puck right away, it would have been a two-line pass. They waited for one of the other players to touch it. Here is Gary Galley with it now. He tried to send it toward the net. That was blocked in front by Ellett. He backhands it up the boards and out to center ice. And Yuri Karolotti has it there, and Karolotti dumps it along the boards. Bouncing puck knocked down by Turek. He spots an opening, tried to clear it. It was gloved down by Smolinski, but a good recovery by Eastwood to clear.
Smolinski did a good job to knock that one down, though. He was tied up with Eastwood, got his glove up real quick and kept that in the zone. Roman Turek was trying to go up the middle with it to get it out.
Buckberger working his way in along with Smolinski. Out of the box now comes Pronger. A backhand shot is stopped by Turek. And it's poked along the boards. Pronger gets there, and the Blues captain tries to clear it. It's held in by Modry. Modry dumps it back down along the boards. Smolinski centering pass. A chance here for Buckberger, and a save made by Turek. Now in the corner again. They get it to Buckberger. He deflects it behind the net. Feeds it back out to Smolinski between the circles. Karolotti had it on his stick, and then it was poked away as the Blues again recover. Here is Pronger breaking out into the LA Kings zone, and it's deflected by Modry over the glass and out of play.
Well, Chris Pronger's had a tough first period. He got drilled a couple of times. He's got a little mouse under the eye by a high stick. And there's the hit by LaPerriere that hit him from behind and really shook him up. LaPerriere got a penalty for that. And then this is why Pronger ended up taking his last penalty. And that's the Spiro I was talking about. Yeah. He could have easily got at least a double minor there. but I think the penalty had already been called on him for a quick slash he had made just before that.
I think you're right.
I mean, he's not a fun guy to play against. Pronger's going to make your life real miserable inside your own zone, but he was getting that back at Laperriere for the hit that Laperriere had on him that we just showed you a second ago.
I suppose there's two theories on how to play against a guy like Pronger. Go at him, agitate him, make him take penalties, knowing that he can be a very volatile type of guy. But the other theory is leave him alone, don't wake him up.
You know, if you better be big, and you better be able to take some pain, because if you're going to go up against Chris Pronger for the whole game, all these little marks by the end of the night are going to spell Chris Pronger was here.
Blues trying to get something going deep in the LA zone, but the Kings take it away and they break out as Blake drills one in from center ice. That's in the glove of Roman Turek. He just calmly drops it off now for his defenseman Jeff Finley, and the Blues work it to center ice. Here is Reasoner. He drives a shot blocked by Nordstrom, picked up by Craig Johnson. Now Bob Corkum, number 19 for the Kings, has it. Deflects right out in front of the LA goal, but the Kings recover and knock it away. It looked like Bartetsko, 23 for the Blues, was going to get a great scoring chance. It just never developed. Flipped down to center ice and deflected by Dimitra into the LA Kings zone. Jamal Mayer, number 21 for St. Louis, rolls it back behind the Kings' net. And the Kings defense gets there quickly. John O'Donnell clearing it out to center ice. Back to the... Oh! Dimitra never saw the hit coming from Gary Galley. And that draws Chris Pronger in the front for St. Louis Blues. Absolutely looked like a clean hit. He just never saw Galley coming.
And Chris Pronger jumped right in there in the very same fashion as Jesus has done for him after Laperriere had hit Pronger. But, oh, man, was that a collision. I don't know if Dimitra had touched the puck already, and I think that's maybe what Pronger was wondering, and he doesn't really care. He saw his guy get hit hard, and he went in there right away. That's the kind of hit that Rob Blake makes, but it was Gary Galley that started it. Dimitra's looking backwards over his shoulder and just got whacked. And then everybody got into the play.
Remember, these two teams met in the playoffs in 1998. It was a 4-game sweep by the St. Louis Blues. But there was a lot of hitting in that. Here it is, the puck. Oh, yes, it hit his skate.
Did hit his skates. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that play. That is an outstanding hit. When Dimitra looks up, I mean, he's right off his feet. That is textbook stuff. Pronger says, I don't care. You hit my guy, and you hit him way too hard. And here we go. Sean O'Donnell, one of the biggest players on the Kings, went after Pronger right away and subdued him. But Gary Galley is not going to get any penalty for that, nor does he deserve any. That was a good hit. Now, Dimitra is a heads-up player, Dave, but when you get the puck that goes off your foot like that, and he's trying to get some kind of control of it, by the time he looked up, I'm sure his life flashed in front of him there for a couple of seconds. There was nowhere to go.
So Pronger is the only one that gets a penalty as a result of the exchange.
There's the initial hit again. Oh, look at that. Completely airborne. Yikes. You ever gone jogging and been looking down and run into a sign?
I have. Come on. I haven't jogged in years. I was riding my bike one time.
Oh, I don't want to know.
I was looking down, and the next minute I was hugging a tree.
Oh, yikes. Well, that's pretty much how Pavel Dimitra just felt there.
Oh, the final seconds of the period go off the clock. Now Chris Pronger is in the penalty box, remember, for the penalty that came late. Actually, as a result of going to the aid of Dimitra. He got 2 minutes for charging, so the LA Kings working on actually their 4th power play opportunity. Dave Strader along with Brian Engblom, and again, a happy St. Patrick's Day to all looking in tonight. And the beginning of a very exciting weekend for all of us covering the National Hockey League, with ABC beginning their regional coverage tomorrow. Here is Stempel now along the boards, moving it deep to the corner. McGinnis is there now for St. Louis. Wraps it around. Eastwood chops at it. Could not get it out the first time. Second effort couldn't get it by Galley. Now Stempel alertly back to Robitaille. Rob Blake toward the net. That deflects and skips just wide of Roman Turek. Here's Robitaille again. Robitaille sends it deep. Jason Blake playing a little throw and catch there with Gary Galley. It goes back to the line. Rob Blake has it. Gives it off to Jason Blake. Back to Rob Blake. Tees up. Good. Right. Left hand save rather by Turek. Jason Blake with a chance here. Save again. Left hand of Turek as he flashed it out just at the last second.
And he looks so calm and confident, too. He just flashed that leg out and nothing else bothering him.
Jason Blake, Roman time with a chance and a save made by Turek there. And there's a case of a guy being 6'3". Even as he starts to go down, Brian, he still covers so much of the net.
3 just outstanding saves here. That's what Roman Turek has given this club all season long, and it's what they felt they didn't have on a consistent basis last year.
Modry dumps it along the boards. It actually skipped up high on the glass. Turek couldn't get the glove on it. Carolati with it now. Slides it across for Modry. Back to Carolati. 10 seconds left in the Pronger penalty. Smolinski moves it quickly now. Nelson Emerson a shot at that time. Turek just closing everything down. But is this guy quick, especially for a man his size, Brian?
He's exceeded all their expectations for the season. And I think he's getting to their highest hopes, the club that is. Everything he's done during the regular season has been just outstanding. All that's left ahead is the playoffs. He just flashes the leg out a couple of times. He looks like the immovable object in the net. He's huge. He does all the things that butterfly goaltenders do. Just in the smart situations, he goes down, takes away everything low, and yet there's still so much upper body looming that there's really not much left in the top corners either.
You know, there's not a lot of times when St. Louis breaks down, but we saw the situation in the first period in Phoenix when a team that averages only 22 shots against gave up 14 and some very good scoring chances, and Turek was there. We see now during this LA power play 2 or 3 great chances in a row. Turek is there. You're right. He gives them a sense of confidence that just seems to go all the way down that bench. And they feel, hey, you know what? If we do make a slight mistake, this guy's going to cover up for us. Here's Pronger out of the box. Sends it in front of chance here. And Jamie Storr, who has not seen a lot of action in quite a while, makes a huge save there on Eastwood on a great setup by Pronger.
Well, the Kings didn't handle the fact that Pronger came out of the penalty box. They just didn't handle that well. Modry and Carlotti were the 2 defensemen back, but when they got the puck to Pronger, the St. Louis Blues, that is, they had a mini 2-on-1 situation, and it was actually Dan Bilesma, a forward, who was back there playing defense. That was all messed up on the part of the Kings. And talking about big saves, Jamie Storr with his biggest one of the game so far for the Kings.
How about the pass by Pronger? I mean, what a touch. Just threw that very softly on the other side of Bilesma, knowing just put it to that area, and Eastwood's going to get to that puck.
That was one remaining aspect of Chris Pronger's game that's been coming along slowly and steadily and matching the rest of his great play defensively.
Bilesma for the Kings, able to send it out center ice. Kelly Buchberger will dump it in and try to get to it. He is slowed down by a couple of St. Louis Blues. Bilesma run hard into the boards there by Marty Riesener. Buchberger comes out with it. Now Riesener coming off the 4-assist performance in Phoenix the other night. Bartechko, good to see him back out there. He was the one that took that wicked hit from Rob Blake right down in the corner.
Yeah, 2/3 of the Slovak line got whacked pretty good in that first period. Bartechko got whacked by Rob Blake, and then Pavel Dimitri got whacked by Gary Galley right at the blue line.
Hanzus was the guy that came to the rescue after the hit by LaPerriere on Pronger. So all of them were involved in one form or another in the physical play. An icing call here. More National Hockey Night action coming your way on Sunday night. We've got an Eastern Conference battle, and every point is so very important. Brian Leetch is back. He's healthy. Is it going to be enough for the New York Rangers? The Pittsburgh Penguins, as you heard from Al Morganti, hoping to have Jaromir Jagr back. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. And here's why the points are so important. Right now, the Penguins are on the correct side of that yellow line. The Rangers are not. But look at the points. The Sabres with 69, you win a game, you jump over 2 other teams, and you're up there in the 8th spot.
So much can happen still. I mean, we're going to be guessing from here on in. One week you think, oh, this team's done. And next week you're saying, well, they look pretty good now. Now that team's no good, and I don't think they're going to make it. A lot going to happen between now and the end of the last 10 or 11 games.
And that game Sunday night, a full national telecast. You folks in Pittsburgh and New York want to see your teams play that important game. It can only be seen on ESPN's National Hockey Night. Hesh plays it out to center right, bouncing puck, and Young could not get through Sean O'Donnell, but Hesh pokes it ahead. Pascal Rayom gets there. Rayom makes a nice move behind the net, tries to tuck it out in front. It was knocked away. Pronger over at the right point, holding it in. Picked up now by Rayom again, playing in only his 2nd NHL game this season because of shoulder surgery. First game was the other night in Phoenix when he scored a goal. Back the first goal of the game. Now the puck cleared all the way out to Rayom. It bounced off of his stick. The Blues will recover. St. Louis Blues with only 5 shots on goal in a period plus about 4 minutes, and an icing call here.
Dave, you mentioned Pascal Réaume. We're glad for his sake to see him back in the lineup after those 2 shoulder surgeries that he had, and hadn't played since the playoffs last year. Missed the entire season until last game in St. Louis. It got to the point where there was nerve damage in that right shoulder, and it atrophied. The entire shoulder just basically went away. And he put it in best context, I think. The left shoulder took 26 years to build. The right shoulder, he's only had 6 months to rebuild. It was basically went down to skin and bone, and that takes a heck of a lot of work to rebuild it back, especially during the season.
Face-off control by the Kings. Mulgrew shot skipped through, and Turek held his position and made the save. Ian LaPerriere had it slapped away. Eastwood there for the Blues. Clears it up the boards. Another collision coming, that time between Carolina, the Kings defenseman, and Jamal Mayers, the Blues forward. Now Marco Tuomainen. Carolina gets it now for the Kings. Clears it back through center ice. Al McGinnis being chased there by Craig Johnson. LaPerriere picks it up, sends it out in front of Tips there. Turek the save. He wasn't sure where it was. Off the stick of Tuomainen. Craig Johnson with a chance. That doesn't get through. Picked up again by the Kings. Cross-ice pass taken. Craig Johnson, a high shot. Turek didn't handle that, but he deflected it wide. Eastwood for the Blues tries to clear. Robitaille just off the bench. Bounces it in front. LaPerriere was all alone there, but couldn't corral the bouncing puck. Now Blake trying to roll it back deep. He is hit from behind by Jamal Mayers, who eased up, though, at the last second. Didn't drill Blake into the boards as he could have.
That's the way it's supposed to work.
Robitaille across the man all alone. Stumble! Oh, and he lost it as he went to the backhand. Now Nordstrom tees it up. His high shot in the glove of Roman Turek.
Shots from the point, smothering rebounds, but when you're eyeball to eyeball with the shooter and nobody else around, you got to come up with the goods, and Turek has.
The LA Kings, I don't want to say they're not missing Ziggy Paul, because of course you miss a guy of his talent, but they have carried the play here and had the better of the scoring chances.
Well, they had some good forecheck going in that last shift, too. It was Craig Johnson who actually started the forecheck on Al McGinnis and turned the puck over and gave Tuomainen the best scoring chance they've had, I think, yet in this game.
Blake tees it up. That shot was blocked, goes out to center ice. Blake and Pellerin come together. And now Nordstrom comes over. He took a hit there as he collided with Scott Young. Now Pronger looked out. He just did get his head up as Dan Bilesma was coming at him. Back the other way come the St. Louis Blues. Here's Conroy, drops it. Young with a chance, and he fired it just wide. Scott Young still with one of the better shots in the league in a situation like that. Now it comes to Ellett. Ellett plays it ahead. And Bartechko for the Blues sends it deep into the Kings zone. Kelly Buchberger, former Edmonton Oiler and Atlanta Thrasher. He will be a key member of this LA team. Pass in. Dave Stowe with a save. No, it tickled by him over the line. Jamie Stowe got a piece of it, but couldn't stop it. And the Blues, out of nowhere, have a 1-0 lead. And it's going to be Handzus that's going to get credit for the goal.
Well, a breakdown by the Kings is right. Michael Handzus came out from behind the net, and there was a loose puck staring him right in the face. He just went for the sort of half wraparound. There he is. A blind pass from Pavel Demitra. But I'll tell you what, Demitra, I'm sure, knew that Handzus was going to be there. He threw it right to the spot, and there was Handzus, and the Kings defense didn't sniff it out early enough. And as good a save as Jamie Stowe made early on, this one just snuck through the 5-hole. He didn't close those pads off quickly enough.
And number 23, Eagles Bartechko.
23rd of the season. And the play is offside. Now Roman Turek has done his job on the road, holding his team in until somebody could score. Michael Handzus finally has. And who's getting set to take the draw, Michael Handzus, has the first goal of this hockey game on just the 6th shot on goal for the St. Louis Blues, who have been outshot 13-6. And now the Blues are 3-on-2 here if they hurry, and it's the Slovak trio. Here's Demitra, tried to move it across quickly to Bartechko, but Rob Blake got a piece of that. Bartechko now sends it back along the boards for Handzus. Nordstrom ties him up. Now Demitra with it. Demitra drives the shot. Save made by Stowe. Had to be sharp on that tough chance there for Demitra. Demitra gets it back again. His shot is stopped by Jamie Stowe, and back come the Kings. Bilesma drops it off, a pass across. Kelly Buchberger, a one-timer, and it's scooped off the ice by Roman Turek.
Great play by Rob Blake, who actually just wanted to make a line change, and he just threw the puck down low, kitty corner to Buckberger, who was all alone. And he was able to get just tee it up and throw it on Roman Turek right off the bat. But the Slovak pack for the St. Louis Blues, who produced a one and only goal so far in this game by Michael Handzus, updated numbers for you to the moment: 24 goals and 39 assists in their last 20 games. And then look on their last rush. This is after the goal. This is the fear they put in the opposition D. They attack with speed, and it's a 3-on-2. Now they start crisscrossing. Watch Rob Blake, number 4, come across. That is terrific read by Rob Blake. He sniffed it out. He was already on the move. That long stick deflecting the puck away. That was Pavel Demitra, one of the best scorers in the league, who would have had a scoring chance.
Here is Galley now. He sends it along for Sean O'Donnell, but it was tipped away by the Blues. Finley taken now by Hecht. He rolls it across here. Jamal Mayers trying to get around Gary Galley. Jamal Mayers pulled down. No indication of an arm going up in the air from the referee Dvorsky, and the Kings will come right back center ice. And let's see, that was a 2-line pass that originated inside the Kings blue line.
Well, St. Louis goes through the neutral zone with good speed, but Gary Galley did an excellent job in that last play. I think that was Mayers that was driving right. Yes. I think with the puck, he just kind of blew a tire. He was trying to lean in against Gary Galley. He was playing very strong. Gary Galley is three purple. He comes over, and he just leans on him, keeps him to the outside. Yeah, there's no trip there, no nothing. Mayers is trying to lean in, but Gary Galley had the good lean on him there, cut off his alley to the front of the net. Galley's been around the block. He's got lots of experience. He knows what Mayers was trying to do and took it all away from him.
Gary Galley started his career with the LA Kings in his 16th season in the National Hockey League. Moved on to Washington, Boston, Philadelphia, and Buffalo before coming back. Here's Stumple, a chance in front, score! Oh, what a play by the St. Louis Blues. That was Riesener, number 15 for the Blues, that made the play in front, and Jochen Hecht finished it off, and the St. Louis Blues with a 2-0 lead over the LA Kings.
Well, Marty Riesener, coming off a couple of assists in his last game, has got the hot hand. He created this play, and the Kings get caught along the wall. Look at the touch here. He put that on the perfect spot. It's one thing to get it around the defender, but look at Riesener. Not only does he get it around Gary Galley, but he puts it right on the forehand so that Hecht can one-time it. And again, it's the 5-hole for Jamie Storr. He has to slide from his left to his right, and it's tough to cover up that 5-hole. But Jochen Hecht was a recipient of an excellent pass there by Riesener.
9th of the year for Hecht. Marty Riesener's 4-assist game the other night was the first 4-point performance by any rookie in the National Hockey League. And of course, we've had some outstanding rookie performances from the likes of Scott Gomez. Here come the Kings right back. Now Bergevin trying to move it along the boards. It was blocked, backhanded by Conroy. Pellerin tries to get it out. John O'Donnell holding it in for the LA Kings. Murray gets it to Smolinski, pass in front, and the Blues recovered again. John O'Donnell putting it along the boards.
We've really seen almost a 4-goal swing in the last couple of minutes. Those two great saves by Roman Turek. The Kings would have been up on the scoreboard by a couple. Instead, St. Louis comes back, bang, bang, and they're up 2.
Jamie Storr plays it along the boards. Craig Johnson has it roll off the stick. It's recovered by the Blues and dumped back in deep behind Jamie Storr. Backhanded by Yaroslav Modry out to center ice, and it's taken there by Finley. Finley moves it across. Demitra to Handzus. Handzus to Barteshko. Barteshko winds up, drives the shot, save, rebound is there. Jamie Storr stopped the second one off the stick of Handzus. As that Slovak pack, very dangerous again.
These guys are so slick. The Slovak line for St. Louis have got such quick hands, and it was good decision making there by Barteshko, who just pulled the trigger really quickly. He and Handzus working so well together, and Barteshko looked, he wanted to give it back to Handzus. Handzus got through for actually the extra rebound there, but it was Barteshko saying, yes, I'd like to give it to him. No, I can't. So I throw it at the net. That's the logical and the right thing to do. These guys just have great feel for each other. I mean, it's amazing. We showed you the numbers a minute ago of what they've done for the St. Louis Blues, and especially the fact with Pierre Turgeon having been out so much this year, and Turgeon being their #1 scorer, these guys have more than picked up and carried the load.
Ian LaPerriere controlled the draw for the Kings. They clear it out to center ice. Riesener at collision there with an LA player. That was 2 of mine that went down. Pass in front. Hecht with a redirection. Oh, and Riesener rings it off the crossbar. Hecht came close to scoring, and then Riesener on the rebound put it right off the crossbar. And the LA Kings, who find themselves down 2-0. Dodged a bullet there. Galley plays it along the boards now. Here's Craig Johnson. Johnson leaves it now for LaPerriere. He lost it, and now Riesner, a long flip to center ice. Hecht has it. He's got Reard moving up into the play, but a good defensive move there by Sean O'Donnell. Of the Kings broke that up.
Well, the Kings got running around inside their own zone, and St. Louis is really good at taking advantage. And Riesner ended up whipping one off the crossbar. But then as the play went down the other end, Dave, St. Louis Blues are so good at knowing when they've got you on edge and you're not feeling good about yourself. Right. Then they start to throw the speed at you. There's Hecht, and there's Riesner in behind Rob Blake. Scoops it up. He had the right idea. The puck was rolling. He did the best he could to go up over Jamie Storr, and he did. Just about 1 inch too much.
Marty Riesner, again, those 4 assists, the most by a rookie this year. In fact, over the last 4 seasons, only one other rookie has had 4 assists in a game, and that was Milan Hajduk in March of last season against the LA Kings.
In Riesner's first call up, it was only 1 game, and he did not play very well. I talked to him about that. He said, I was so bad, I knew the second time if I got a chance, I had to be better. He said, I was trying to do way too much. Ever since he was called up the second time, he's stuck with St. Louis, and he's been pulling off plays like that.
Artesco and Dimitra. Now here's Hanzus with a snapshot shot, and Storr had to be alert there because his defenseman Blake was screening him a bit on the play. Bilesma for the Kings could not get it deep into the St. Louis zone. We passed the halfway mark of this second period. The St. Louis Blues with a 2-0 lead.
And some double shifting here. The Slovak line seems like every time we look up, those 3 guys are out there for the Blues.
Roman Turek settles it down. Here is Pronger with it. Snaps the pass to center ice. Pellerin, nice redirect. Dimitra with a shot that sails just wide of that far post. And the Kings sweep it out to center ice, but the Blues right there.
Great efficiency on that line change there. That pass from all the way deep inside the zone from Pronger and the little redirection, because the Kings were trying to make a line change and 2 or 3 guys were still getting back in position.
Pronger sends it deep into the LA zone. Baudry given a shoulder there by Pellerin. Now Conroy centering attempt. He was looking for Scott Young, who was behind the Kings defenseman. And here comes Carolani back the other way now for LA. Gets it in deep. Trying to roll it out in front. That was deflected by Al McGinnis. Now Robitaille in the offensive zone. Got a stick on it, but the Blues got Pellerin able to clear it back and into the LA zone. Baudry has it there now. Carolani plays it ahead. Robitaille sweeps it into the Blues zone. Turek coming out, obviously communicating with his defenseman Al McGinnis. McGinnis clears it the other way. It'll be icing unless Rayon can get there ahead of Carolani. Lifts the stick, and he did touch it first. Great hustle by Pascal Rayon. Sends it out now. McGinnis with a chance here, but as he tried to wind up, it was poked away by Robitaille. Jason Blake across the line. Had trouble handling the puck. It's knocked down. Blues. Richer able to clear. And the play offside at the Kings blue line. What's happened in the last 18 hours?
That's when you can't decide on a shade of green. You just go with all of them. Irish camouflage.
Yes. He must have been hunting some leprechauns earlier today. As John Butchergrass might say during a highlight, get in my belly. Pronger back behind his own net, hands it off. Jeff Finley down to Barteshko, and he was checked on the play by Nelson Emerson, number 17 for the Kings. Now it's back out to center ice. Blake has it there. Now back behind Roman Turek. Pronger picks it up, just hammers it off the board, trying to get it out, and he got a good bounce there. And the Kings getting back onside, and Brian Smolinski lifts it back into the blue zone. Now, this has not been a very vocal crowd, to say the least, Brian, but with the 2-0 lead and a lot of the physical play we saw in the first has gone away. Dimitra with a chance. Left pass save made there by Storr. Comes back in toward the net, and he finally gets the glove on it. Well, let's take a look at our Visa storyline for this Western Conference matchup so far. Blues 11-1-1 the last 13 road games. Power play for St. Louis 0 for 3. The Kings 0 for 4. And Hanzus able to get the first goal of the game.
And our Visa replays are the 2 goals. 2 5-hole goals for Jamie Storr. That was Michael Hanzus on the first one. And then Johan Hecht will find the 5-hole after a great setup by number 15, Marty Riesner. And it's 2-zip Blues.
Slovak pack continuing to just sparkle every time they're on the ice. Jason Blake pounds it out to center ice. That deflected off Robitaille, and he'll circle back, getting control. Wheels it back to Carolati. Now center ice for Jason Blake. Stumple was there as well, and Stumple sends it along the boards back behind Turek. Blues playing it along the boards, trying to clear the zone. Jason Blake out of stick on it. Stumple comes up. He collides with Marty Reisner. A shot from an angle by Jason Blake, and the save was made by Turek. Here's Carolati. That deflects. Oh, and that took a strange bounce after it deflected in front of Turek. Comes down to Jamal Mayers. Mayers getting some help from Al McGinnis, and McGinnis bounces it out to center ice.
Well, St. Louis has done a good job in the second period of getting their speed game going. I mean, they've been controlling the neutral zone. They've made the quick outlet passes. They've got the Kings with a bigger gap between their forwards and D, and if that continues, St. Louis is going to get even more scoring chances.
Brian, remember the shots were 13-5 LA at one point. They've been outshot. The Kings have 10-3 since that point by the Blues, and of course over that stretch St. Louis scoring both of their goals. Craig Johnson looking in front. He wanted to try to go to Ian LaPerriere. And that was closed off by the Blues defense. Eastwood knocks it back along the boards behind the net. Bergevin scoops it along. O'Donnell was there for LA to block it, but the Blues get it right back, and it is cleared by Richer to center ice. Marco Tuomainen sends it deep to the right of Turek. Al McGinnis takes a look, knows that he's got an LA King bearing down on him, and now here's LaPerriere. Tied up by Stephane Richer. Richer pokes it along the boards. Galley moving it for the point for the Kings. Sends it deep for LaPerriere again. Now McGinnis tries to clear. Craig Johnson has it there. Sends it right back in deep. Bergevin hammers it around. Galley, big collision there with Pascal Rayon.
That's a second consecutive collision because Pascal Rayon took a shot at Gary Galley along the boards and got the elbow up a little bit.
O'Donnell with a chance, and he may have been trying to set somebody up, coming for the net. LaPerriere sends it back to O'Donnell. Hit shot, save, Turek, rebound, under the glove. Now it comes free again, and Roman Turek makes another save. Well, the physical play had gone away for the most part in the second period, but it's starting to rear its ugly head. It's 2-0 St. Louis. It's 2-0 St. Louis under 5 minutes remaining here in the second period. Dave Strader along with Brian Engblom on this St. Patrick's Day evening. Southern California. Puck finally comes free. It bounces out through center ice. And Nordstrom will race back after it. Number 14 for the LA Kings. Now Smolinski. Rink wide with it for Blake. Rob Blake. Banks it ahead. Pronger for the Blues. Sends it right back. Scott Young put it into the LA zone, but the Blues had nobody there to pick it up. So the Kings come right back the other way. Brian Smolinski, a little backhand flip. Glenn Murray will catch up to it there. Now Smolinski. Will get hit there from Craig Conroy. Puck goes back to the corner. Murray flips it in deep. Now Nelson Emerson has it there. Smolinski again, tied up by Finley and Conroy. Murray digs it out to the line. Nordstrom a drive. That bounced off a body in front of Turek. Smolinski plays it back around. Kings for a couple of shifts now have had the puck deep in the St. Louis zone.
St. Louis forwards have come back real deep to help out their D, but they've sagged in so much. Kings have utilized it here. That shot by Nordstrom was a smart play by the Kings. Get it back to the blue line quick, get him to move in, get a shot, and get St. Louis running around.
Here's Bilesma with it now for the LA Kings, and he puts it into the blue zone. Turek won't wander out of the net too often. Tries to clear it there himself, but is held in by the Kings. Corkum put it in deep. Kelly Buchberger is there. Buchberger sends it to the corner. Corkum trying to play it back up to the point. Hanzus was there, and he clears it back the other way. Barteshko, look at the move he makes on Galley to kind of slingshot himself ahead of the Kings defenseman, and it's going to be interesting to see how this call is made, but there is going to be a penalty coming. Hockey fans, don't miss a special presentation of Wayne Gretzky's last game, airing this Saturday at 6 Eastern on ESPN Classic. It was April 18th, 1999, when the Great One had one assist in his final game of his career against Jaromir Jagr and the Penguins, an overtime game at Madison Square Garden. That's coming up at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific tomorrow, only on ESPN Classic.
Lubos Barteshko used the sort of whiplash action to get around Gary Galley, and therefore Sean O'Donnell had to come back and do that to him. So O'Donnell's the only one that got a penalty. But as an ex-defenseman, I hate seeing that. Those forwards get away with that kind of stuff all the time. Barteshko just yanked back on Gary Galley, pitchforking him back, propelling himself forward, giving himself the edge, and then it was Sean O'Donnell that had to come to the rescue and had to pull him down.
I wasn't sure when I first saw the arm go up that the penalty wasn't against Barteshko, but it is a St. Louis power play. They have a 2-0 lead late here in the second period.
If it had been a scoring chance for Galley, I think it would have been a penalty, but it's not a scoring chance, but it was a smart play by Barteshko.
Storr made the save, gave up a rebound, but his defense was there, and the Kings able to clear it all the way back into the blue zone. Now McGinnis now to center ice, winds up, drives it in deep. That takes a strange bounce again off one of the partitions. Blues able to hold it in. Here's Ellett with it. Ellett sends it cross ice. Dimitrov to the line. McGinnis one-timer on the way. And going down for the block there was Dan Bilesma. That's one of the reasons he's always in this LA King lineup.
Andy Murray just can't take Dan Bilesma out of the lineup. He works so hard every single shift he's out there. That was a terrific block because that was a full-on slapper from Big Al McGinnis.
Kings clear it all the way back into the blue zone. McGinnis has it there. Just over 2 minutes left in the second period, and just under a minute left now in the minor penalty to Sean O'Donnell of the LA Kings as McGinnis wraps it in along the boards behind Jamie Storr. Handzus is there. He works it along. Now it is swept by Glenn Murray up the boards, and Pronger, no way he could keep that in. And the Blues have to go back and chase one more time. Barteshko center ice. Crossing the red line, wanted to carry it in, but forced to dump it in. Now Handzus in there. Big hit on Galley. Handzus goes down, so does Galley. The puck still in that pile there, and the referee Dvorsky going to whistle it down for the faceoff. And tempers get a little bit short.
Yeah, tempers have been short since the very beginning of the game, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. Michael Handzus was in the thick of things, but he backed off this time around. Although maybe not quick enough.
Yeah.
Because it looks like he's headed the penalty box now. Last 22 games, 23 points. Pretty consistent effort. This is the guy on the Slovak line that actually is the defensive guy first. He is so smart at reading the play, but he's got some pretty great hands too. It shows by those numbers. He was on the forecheck. Pretty good whack on Gary Galley, taking him into the boards. And I think that may be what he got the penalty for right there.
Yep.
Unsportsmanlike. It wasn't a kick, but it would just sort of push forward with the knee or the leg, a little extra for Gary Galley. Galley was, of course, the guy who whacked Pavel Dimitrov with that big hit in the first period. Handzus has been sticking up for everybody in this game.
Reardon tried to get it through to the net. Four skaters aside. Here is Scott Young with it. His quick shot steered to the corner by the goaltender Storr. They continue to battle in the corner. Just 10 seconds left in the LA penalty to O'Donnell. When he comes out, the Kings will have a power play opportunity. Here's LaPerriere giving it off to Rob Blake. Tried to send it across and hit the skate of Craig Johnson. O'Donnell is out of the box, so the Kings have the man advantage for the rest of this second period, barring any other calls that might be made. Here is Modry now for Los Angeles. Winds up and drives it high off the glass behind Roman Turek. Bergevin tipped it, but Nelson Emerson knocks it down. Now Robitaille banks it off the boards perfectly out to Blake at the right point. Hands it off down for Robitaille. Robitaille looking across for Modry, who's sneaking in. A shot through the screen and a save made by Turek. Let's go back quickly to our National Hockey Night studios. And John up with John Butchergrass. The Canes fighting for their playoff lives. The Devils hoping some new blood will help them out. But there's other teams out here in the West, Brian, such as the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim and Vancouver, that are trying to get into one of the final spots. And of course, Edmonton separates themselves even more from those teams.
And Anaheim's got a critical game tonight against San Jose. They lose that game to San Jose. They're very, very close to being on their way out. That would put them 8 points back, and with only about 10 or 11 games left, that's asking an awful lot. They've got to win that game tonight. Especially if Edmonton does win the game in Ottawa. Here, Robitaille taking a look, trying to sweep it to the front of the net. It was blocked. Blues do not clear. 6 seconds left in the period. Now it's intercepted by Pronger. Shots in that second period, and probably, Brian, most of the time they were out there was against Nordstrom and Rob Blake, the top defensive pairing for the LA Kings. Yeah, they did, but I tell you what, they used their speed through the neutral zone, and they backed off even Nordstrom and Blake, who are usually really good at standing up. Robitaille with it now, sends it back to the line. Rob Blake winds up, drives a shot, deflected by Turek. Handzus is out of the box. So the Kings, with the brief power play, did get it down into the blue zone. Now Glenn Murray moves it along. Brian Smolinski tries to send it back. It was deflected. Smolinski got it again, rolls it in for Robitaille. Bergevin puts a stick on him.
And the Blues get to it. Modry slapped it out of midair. Kept it in the zone for the LA Kings. Now Spolensky had it chopped away by Pronger. And Scott Pellerin will just clear it back inside the Kings blue line. And this is going to be an icing call on the touch-up by Rob Blake. Well, let's take a look at our Canada Dry League leaders. Early here in the third period of play, and we're talking about Rob Blake and Chris Pronger a lot tonight. How about power play goals among defensemen in the league? Rob Blake leading the way with 11. Raymond Bourque now with the Avalanche. Still seems funny to say that with his 10 power play goals, and Chris Pronger with 8.
Rob Blake has always had a big effect on the power play because of that bazooka of a shot. He's got 66 of his 120 goals have been on the power play in his career.
Always a threat offensively. Second in the National Hockey League in shots on goal, leading all defensemen in that department. Just a couple. Trailing 2-0. 2 goals certainly with this much time remaining. Far from insurmountable, but the way the St. Louis Blues play defensively, it can seem that way. It takes in front. I don't know if that ever got through to Turek or if it was a shot block there by McGinnis.
Well, there have been some breakdowns by both of these clubs here. There's been 4 or 5 times that the St. Louis Blues got open in that second period in front of Jamie Storr. They cashed in for 2 goals. And the Kings have gotten in front of Turek 3 or 4 times, but they've yet to solve him. Turek again coming up with those big saves when they really need it.
Kings flip it to center ice. Jamal Mayers for the Blues got a stick on it. Now it's slapped at by Todd Reardon, and the Blues come back on the counterattack. Reisner looking across in front for Jamal Mayers, and he lost control of it just as he was about to deliver the forehand shot. Now Reisner protecting the puck, hands it off for Hest. It goes to Jamal Mayers, and Jamie Storr just holding his ground. Started to shoot the puck and very wisely covers up.
Early on in this game, Ian LePerriere had an effect, and a big effect, on Chris Pronger. He hit him pretty hard from behind, and ever since then he's had to bear the brunt of slings and arrows from the St. Louis Blues. On the last shift, let's take a look here. Al McInnes is going to get a little good two-handed chop across the hand of Ian LePerriere. That smarted more than a little bit. Looks like he's okay. He's going to stay in the lineup. But it's been one of those games, and he really set the precedent.
Yes, he did.
The bad blood, he started stirring the pot right off the bat because of the run that he took at Pronger.
Ian LePerriere leads the National Hockey League in fighting majors, so he's not afraid to back up that kind of play and stir the pot.
He's been a valuable player for this Kings team. He's got good speed. He forechecks like crazy. He gets in. He pounds people whenever he gets the chance.
Face off here, and Buchberger, good play for the Kings, clears it back the other way. Buchberger and Pascal Riom having some words as the play went back down the ice. Now here's Bergevin for the Blues, moving it up the far side, and it's out to center ice. Buchberger trying to get control of it there. Riom runs into him. 2 of them will take a little bit of time to separate. Buchberger still having words with Riom as Modry drops it back. Carolani for the Kings, plays it off the boards and out through center ice. Eastwood just did avoid most of that Buchberger check attempt, and Pronger just off the bench, hands it off now. Rayon. LePerriere goes at him. Jamie Storr knocks it down, and Modry now for the Kings, hands it off. Sean O'Donnell, quick pass ahead. Craig Johnson trying to go wide on Pronger, gets the shot away, saved. Turek on the rebound, picked up by number 37 Jeff Finley. Johnny on the spot there, the veteran defenseman.
That was a good quick shot by Johnson there. It seemed to surprise Roman Turek a little bit. That hit the inside of his pad. Bottom line is, though, he still kept it out.
Here is Young now across the blue line. Poked away, though, by O'Donnell. Pronger tries to flip it back in. Sean O'Donnell for the Kings hands it again. Now it's picked up by Craig Conroy, number 22 for the St. Louis Blues. He lost control. Craig Johnson starts it back. Johnson, a former St. Louis Blue. The last remnant of the Wayne Gretzky deal made several years back between the LA Kings and the St. Louis Blues. Pronger waiting now, just flips it deep into the LA end.
Well, St. Louis is content to play their tight defensive game. They're up by 2-0 here. They have an unbelievable record when they play with the lead, and the onus is on the Kings to start something offensively. They've only shown a couple of brief flashes of getting anything going offensively, especially on the rush. St. Louis is really good in that neutral zone, and Kings have struggled there.
Here's Luc Robitaille. He's been rather quiet. And the Blues able to get to it and clear it back the other way.
Of the few Kings guys who have had chances in front of Roman Turek on broken plays, Luc Robitaille has not been one of them. You want your scorers to get some chances.
That's right.
As often as possible, but Luc's a guy who doesn't miss very often. He hasn't had too many. You're right there.
Michael Handzus, who has one of the 2 St. Louis goals, puts it in deep. Jamie Storr sweeps it up the boards. It's taken by Robitaille, left wing side. Robitaille looking across for Stumple in the play. One team versus the other. I think the Mighty Ducks are going to need the points a lot more than LA.
You bet. Although that one game left against Phoenix, I mean, the Kings are right there. They got a chance to to move up, and they want to keep doing that against the top teams. The Phoenix has struggled a little bit lately.
Yes, they have. As Al Morgani and John Butchergrass were talking about it, it's going to affect who you end up playing. Because the winner of the Central Division, St. Louis or Detroit, the other one automatically goes down to 4. And right now that would be the team that the LA Kings would play. But you're not going to get any bargains no matter who you meet in the first round. If you finish 5 through 8 and lucky enough to get in, you're going to have a tough first round game.
The first round of the playoffs in both conferences is going to be the toughest round.
Yep.
In a lot of ways. A lot of pressure on a lot of teams. Because the thought of going out in the first round just makes you crazy.
John O'Donnell backhands it deep into the Blues zone. Turek has it there. Just over 6 minutes gone by here in the third period. The St. Louis Blues had just 5 shots on goal the first 26.5 minutes of this game, and then struck quickly for a couple of goals in the second period, and they've been able to shut it down. Eastwood goes to the outside, wheels and tries to fire it back into the slot. Nobody there for the Blues, and McGinnis just backs it up and sends it across for Bergevin. Richer got a glove on it for St. Louis. And Richer, good job to recover, gets it across the Kings blue line. And it is an offside play at the Kings line as Buckberger and Richer fence with each other. 2-0 Blues in the third. Matchups around the National Hockey League. Dave Strader, Brian Engblom here on this St. Patrick's evening. Hasn't been a whole lot for the home crowd to make noise about, with the Blues leading 2-0. Here's a steal by Smolinski, sends it toward the net. It sailed right in front of Turek, but went wide. Now Buckberger tied up there by Scott Young. Conroy for the Blues threw it away. Here's Smolinski with it. He hands it off for Gary Galley, cruising in. Pass across in front of Turek. Buckberger chases it down, puts it in deep now for Glenn Murray, number 27 for the Kings. Stick of a St. Louis player came up on Murray. That's what the crowd reacted to. Sean O'Donnell moved in for the point for LA, and the net is off behind Roman Turek. And that's why we have the whistle.
Well, the Blues have been steaming right along this year without Pierre Turgeon. He's been out for 24 games now. And if you look at their top scorers, Turgeon is still in second place on their team. That shows you just how good he was before he got hurt this last time around. But look at the bottom. Their record, 17-4-3 without Turgeon. I mean, you take a guy who's that hot, who's that good, who produced that much for them, take him out for a long period of time, and you don't know exactly how long that time frame is, and then everybody picks up in his absence.
And this is what the crowd reacted to, and you saw the blade of the stick of McGinnis got caught in the jersey of Murray as he was trying to bring the stick up and trying to get it out of there.
There's been a lot of stick work going on in this game by various players wearing both jersey colors.
Face off deep in the blue zone, and St. Louis controls. Here's Pronger with it, and Pronger will skate it ahead. One of the long strides now, hands it off into the zone. Bartechko gets a shot away, save made by Jamie Storr. Rebound, Handzus scores. What quick hands by Handzus. It looked like Storr had it covered up. Second goal of the game for Handzus. 3-0 Blues.
The key here is that St. Louis got pretty easy access inside the blue line, and that Handzus continued to go to the net. He took 2 King players with him, and it allowed his teammates to control the puck. And Bartechko, too much time, too much room from the King standpoint. He threw it to the net. Then Handzus just uses his big body, backs off the King defender against him, and still has his stick within play. I think that's Laperriere who was playing against him. Laperriere gets on the wrong side of him. Yes, it is 22 in black for Los Angeles Kings, and he knows it right after the fact. He played that one wrong, and Handzus made him pay.
Remember, Pronger started that whole thing deep in his own zone. Brian made the play ahead, got it to the red line, and then made the entry pass to Bartechko. Now Pronger got the other assist, and
that was due to the big gap that the LA Kings have had between their forwards and their defense most of this game. St. Louis has created that gap.
Save made by Turek, and he makes sure with the big glove that it doesn't get loose for Luc Robitaille.
Michael Handzus with 2 goals tonight. He's now got 24 goals on the year. The St. Louis Blues are 40-0 when they score 3 or more goals in a game. That is unbelievable. 3 goals has always been the dividing line for all the teams in the National Hockey League. But when you're absolutely perfect like that, that's taken it to a whole nother level.
Well, including last season, they have won 51 in a row when they have scored 3 or more goals. That is just phenomenal.
Handzus is a really impressive player. This guy, he's 6'5", tremendous on faceoffs, very strong. Defensive reads come first. That seems to be the strongest part of his game. But he's obviously got some hands, and he's got 2 here tonight.
Now a face-off deep in the Blues zone, and Marty Reisner wins it cleanly there from Smolinski. Blues have done an excellent job here in this 3rd period with face-offs, especially the ones deep in their own zone. Jamal Mayers hands it off now. Jochen Hess checked on the play by Glenn Murray. Taken by Reisner, and it's stripped from him by Rob Blake. And Blake now taken off the puck, and there's going to be a penalty here against the St. Louis Blues. And Jamal Mayers tries to stuff it in after the whistle.
Yeah, and then that's raised the ire of all the King players. And Kelly Buchberger, the newest Los Angeles King, he's not going to take anything like that. It was a delayed penalty, but the whistle had
Script we saw the other night from the St. Louis Blues. They were up 2-0, I believe, going into the 3rd period. Phoenix got an early goal in the 3rd. Ended up giving up 3 goals to Phoenix in the later stages of the 3rd period, but still had the game in control because they eventually were up 5-1 at one point before giving up the last 2. Show you how competitive Roman Turek is. I mean, they win the game and a couple of inconsequential goals, but he was very upset about the second Phoenix goal that he thought was played with a high stick. He wants that goals against to stay down around 2 and under 2 if he can get it there. Robitaille rolls it to the corner. Glenn Murray back to Robitaille. Robitaille rim of the circle. Lane throw and catch with Glenn Murray. Now it went to Smolinski inside the penalty killing box, and then back to Robitaille and ripped the shot wide. Galley holding it in for the Kings, but a cross-ice pass like that not going to work very often against the St. Louis Blues.
Well, especially when he's so far away from his target,
yeah.
and he telegraphed it for a couple of seconds, so a couple of Blues were able to step in between.
Galley with it to the red line. Took a bump, got it into the zone, but McGinnis right there to send it back the other way. Conroy, well, the Blues trying to disrupt the Kings from even coming out of their own zone with a man advantage. Now Blake is bumped by Conroy. Nelson Emerson, he is dumped to the seat of his pants. Big hit there by Al McGinnis. Been a physical game for Al McGinnis. You think of him mostly for the offense and the big slap shot, but boy, he is such a complete package, as he proved by winning the Norris Trophy last year.
He can be pretty active with his stick, and right there, I mean, that was a great check on Emerson right at the blue line.
Emerson dropped it. It was picked up, and a shot hit the goal post behind Roman Turek. It came out cleanly. The Kings are looking back at the goal judge. The light never came on. They may have thought it went inside that goal post.
I think it was Joseph Stumple who ended up with the rebound. It went clearly off the post and back up underneath Turek. We'll get a good shot from the goal cam.
No question.
That was plenty solid off the pipe. Actually from Nelson Emerson. Emerson took the shot, and Stumple was there for a potential rebound. When you're hot and you're playing well, your goal posts are your friends, and that right goal post is a big friend of Roman Turek's right now.
Now the Coyotes got a couple of pucks behind Turek early in that game in Phoenix the other night. Rang a couple off the crossbar, and you're right. Goaltender will just say, well, I had the angle covered anyway. Handzus for the Blues, and Corkum for the Kings will lean over their sticks one more time and try those face-off. Puck is dropped, and it is controlled by L.A. It comes to Modry, and a penalty, and it's going to be interference against Los Angeles.
Interference off the face-off, I believe, will be the call here. We were talking to Chris Pronger before the game. He's up for the Norris Trophy as the best defenseman. He's probably up for the Hart Trophy as MVP. Since the defenseman had won the MVP, Bobby Orr was the last one. You can't afford to think about stuff like that while the season's still on.
LePerrier hands it off. Craig Johnson dumps it in wide. And here is Pavel Demitra racing it back into the LA Kings zone. Had it poked off of his stick. Blues now go on the power play. And here is Scott Young with it. It's a 3-0 St. Louis lead. Reisner with it. Reisner plays it back to Demitra. Demitra checked right away by LaPerriere, and the puck is cleared by Nordstrom back into the St. Louis zone. Todd Reardon for St. Louis hands it off now for Pronger. Back for Reardon in center ice. Flips it over the head of the Kings defense. They forced to go back after it. Nordstrom, though, lost it, gets it back, tripped up, able, though, to make the play ahead to Buchberger, and Kelly Buchberger will just circle back, kill some time, now sends it ahead to Bilesma, but that was a 2-line pass.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to tonight's winner.
Chris Pronger plays over 30 minutes every night, and as I just mentioned, that he's going to be in consideration for the MVP. The last time a defenseman won the MVP award was Bobby Orr in 70 through 72. Not too many guys have ever won it. But the minutes he's played, especially the situations that St. Louis has been in, Al McInnes has missed 21 or 22 games, I believe, this year. So he's had to do even more than he normally does with regard to power play and offensive situations. But he just does such a good job of controlling his own end of the ice and really being such a big presence out there that you just know he's there.
Reisier with a drive and a save by Storer, who came well out to cut off that angle. And it's back the other way into the blue zone. Don't forget Sports Center coming up immediately following our NHL action here from Los Angeles. Bill Pito and Linda Cohn with the highlights of all the day's sports action, including a couple of exciting finishes in the NCAA tournament. Hesh digs it free, gets it out to the line. Ellett rolls it over to McInnes, winds up, fakes a shot, sends it back to the line. Ellett straight away, moves it across. They want to get it back to McInnes, but the Kings have that figured out, and it's cleared to center ice. Now McInnes faked it one way, now drives it the other way. Yaroslav Modry, number 44 for LA, plays it around the boards, and it climbs over the glass and out of play.
Pretty good defenseman the other end of the ice too, Rob Blake, who will certainly get consideration for the Norris Trophy as well. People around here in LA who've been watching every game in and game out, say that Rob's level of play has actually been higher on average, and he's had more absolutely dominating games this year than he did 2 years ago when he won the Norris Trophy. But when we talked to him before the game, he talked about Chris Pronger, and he said that I think that Pronger probably may get some votes and may very well win MVP. Now, there are a lot of other good candidates out there as well for MVP, but coming from Rob Blake, that was really something to say for him to say about his contemporary fellow defenseman on an opposition team.
Well, they were 1-2 in voting to start in the NHL All-Star game for the North American team against the World Squad in Toronto. Carolotti back to touch up, and that is the icing call. The St. Louis Blues have been the road warriors this year, and tonight is no different. They've come into Los Angeles, and they've controlled it. They lead 3-0.
I feel really bad for you.
Deflection on the way, and Turek able to cover up. Well, a couple of sinister hosts on Sports Center tonight is Bill Pito and Linda Cohn. Will be hosting Sports Center immediately following. Give you an update on all the day's action. Not many upsets in the first round of the NCAA tournament, but some great finishes.
The only thing upset right now is the Los Angeles Kings' stomachs. They got to get something going because St. Louis has just dropped a big antacid pill in all this chemistry, and everything's flattened right out. And that's the advantage of the Blues right now.
That Milton the Monster was part of a bigger cartoon show, and I'm trying to remember what it was.
I don't want to know.
Yeah. Face-off controlled by the Kings. Back to the line. Galley fakes a shot. Now lets it go, and Turek just watched that all the way in.
Good control off the face-off by the Kings, but really, if you watch the front of the net, there was nobody getting in position to screen, and that was to the credit of the St. Louis Blues. I mean, that everybody boxed out and handled, and when Gary Galley threw it to the point, there's just not enough bodies in front. It was great coverage there by the Blues, and they get there way too late. Gary Galley's had a strong game here. He, of course, threw that big hit on Pavel Demitra that really raised everybody's dander on the St. Louis Blues bench.
We talked about Rob Blake and Nelson Emerson going to Bowling Green. That's where Gary Galley attended as well a few years earlier. Helleran now for the Blues, able to clear it back inside the LA Kings zone. Robitaille backhands it in deep, and out of the net comes Turek. Trying to wrist it along the boards. Again, that took kind of a strange hop, but it comes to the Blues. A bank pass ahead for Young. The play is onside. Snaps the shot. And Jamie Storr the save. Thought they were going to blow the whistle there, but the Kings goaltender played it quickly. Now Stumple tried to move it across. That was blocked back the other way. Conroy wants to try to get it loose. Scott Young's going to walk right in. Gets to the forehand. Waits, and it was deflected. Rob Blake
at the last second.
Kings control the faceoff on their own zone. But again, the Blues just making it very difficult to get any time and space. Here comes Smolinski. Smolinski drives a shot on a right arm save by Turek as Smolinski tried to go high on the glove side against the 6'3" goaltender. Roman Turek, former Czechoslovakian Player of the Year, and there's been another pretty good goaltender that held that distinction. In fact, 3 times.
He's really made it look easy tonight, Dave. I mean, he just moves. He makes a slight move here or there. That was a great arm save that he just made. But he was in good position, just flexed his arm a little bit, made the save, and it was great. It looked like no effort.
Here is Pavel Demitra now as the Blues completing a line change. It comes to Reisner. Reisner winds up. Instead goes back to the line. Taken there by Ellett. Walks to the top of the circle. Drives a shot. That hit the goal post. To the left of Jamie Storr, and Glenn Murray for the Kings able to clear.
Boy, Dave Ellett just ripped that one. He had all kinds of room to move in. He used it, and then Storr just got a piece of it.
Ellett jumps up into the rush again. Sends it back out now. Reisner straight away. Wrist shot deflected there by Hest. Hest again behind the net. He's got one of the 3 goals. Jesus has the other 2 for the Blues. Borkham now for the Kings. Could not get it around the first time. Second effort able to get it out of there. Blues rush it back into the LA zone, but the play is offside. Well, the Kings have hit the post a couple of times. The Blues do it here. It remains 3-0 St. Louis.
So that's when we'll find out if and when and how they go to the next level.
Turek able to stop that wraparound opportunity that came from about 7 or 8 feet away. We were talking with Darren Pang about that the other night, the game that we did in Phoenix between the Blues and the Coyotes. And of course, you can never tell. Now it looks like we've got the referee Dvorsky with his arm up. A penalty coming here against St. Louis. But you certainly have to give Roman Turek an opportunity to get his first playoff experience. He has shown nothing in his demeanor, the way he's handled the regular season, to lead you to believe he's going to fall apart just because it's a playoff game.
I'm sure he'll be great just the way he has been all season long.
Let's take a look at our Old Spice storyline. The Kings, the only team in the National Hockey League that has not been shut out this season. The Blues lead the NHL with their 23 road wins, which is just 5 shy of the NHL record. And the Slovak Pack tonight, 2 goals and 3 assists.
And our Old Spice replays have to do with the man we were just talking about, Roman Turek. And when you don't face a lot of shots throughout the course of a game or from game to game, which is what happens to Roman Turek most nights, you need the big saves. And he's had his fair share. I mean, look at that. I like the conservation of motion. He's in there. He's in good early position. A little flick of the leg here and a little elbow there. The glove comes out. Turek's done a terrific job here and deserves the goose egg he's put up so far.
Don't forget, he's 29 years of age. I mean, he hasn't been around the National Hockey League that long because he played over in the Czech Republic, and a lot of international experience. And a reminder again that Sports Center is coming up here on ESPN immediately following our National Hockey Night coverage from the Staples Center here in Los Angeles. Jamie Storr has come to the bench now as the Kings, down 3-0, are going to go for a 6-on-4 skating advantage.
Wow, you don't see this very often with this much time to go, but of course they do have 3 goals to make up.
Robitaille passes from an off the leg, and a chance there, and a save made by Turek with the right pad. Robitaille with a shot missed the net. 6 skaters for the Kings against 4 for the Blues. An empty net down to our right. Shot toward the net. Turek the save. Loose puck. And the puck does come free, but the whistle had already been blown by Dvorsky.
Nice job by Roman Turek once again. It was Luc Robitaille who kept feeding the puck to the front of the net. And this last time, I think it was Nelson Emerson on the doorstep. Prior to that, it was Glenn Murray going to the net on his knees. And the puck comes out to him. He tries to get up, sees it's there, does get a shot away. Turek is calm, has everything taken away down low. And then the second flurry of action. And that's tough. That's tough to make that initial save and then keep from getting pushed in.
Face-off is controlled by the Kings. Blake sends it to the corner. Nelson Emerson gets there. Now it goes to Emerson behind the net. Emerson looking out in front. Instead goes back to the point. It skips off of Glenn Murray's stick. It'll roll in wide of that open net. Now Conroy being tied up. And again, the Kings with 2 extra skaters down there should be able to get the puck support quickly and come out of there with it, which they do. Rob Blake sends it ahead into the zone. And a quick shot here and a save by Turek. That was Nelson Emerson that unloaded that one. Now Robitaille for the Kings. Emerson out to the right point. Rob Blake has it there. Sends it back to the corner. Robitaille settling it down for the Kings. Back to Blake. Gets the shot to redirected just wide. That was Stumple, who then was cross-checked to the ice, it looked like, by Pronger. But no call coming.
When the puck finally came to Stumple, he was past the net. He was past the end goal line. He did redirect it, but only the side of the net to shoot at.
Malinsky hands it off. Robitaille waiting, sends it out. Blake, a one-timer on the way, and that hit something in front before it got to Turek and ended up just wide. Now the puck knocked away. Eastwood band on it. Comes out near the line. It's picked up by Blake. He rolls it across to Robitaille. Wanted to go back to Blake. Blake was taken down. Emerson with it. Sends it down to Smolinski. His pass is blocked. Emerson again. A pass that never got through. And the Blues able to clear.
Michael Handzus really gave Rob Blake a whack from behind. And then Blake did the smart thing and held his stick for a couple of seconds, trying to give his teammates a chance to get a play on net, but no goal.
Well, the King bench has to be alert. Make sure they get 6 guys out there because the goaltender's going to stay on the bench. And the puck has been cleared by the Blues back inside the LA zone. Still over 2 minutes left in this one. 3-0 St. Louis. Roman Turek out of the net. He can shoot the puck pretty well. I don't think he's thinking about scoring, but here it comes out of Bartechko. Hands it off to Dimitra. Dimitra trying to get in position. Shoots and scores! He was being hooked to the ice and he put it right under the crossbar. What a play by Pavel Dimitra.
Can you believe the hands on this guy? On his forehand, trying to move into the middle of the ice. He's being tripped on the play. His feet are almost completely off the ice, and he snaps it top shelf from a few feet inside the blue line as he's going down. Watch this, folks. Pavel Dimitra cuts back in the middle. Look at the stick in between his legs. At least still has the presence of mind to stick handle once, and he goes top shelf. Wow. Look at that. One more stick handle. Nothing was going to stop him from getting that to the empty net.
Not many empty net goals are worth a couple of looks. That one was,
no
for
kidding.
the effort and for, as you pointed out, Brian, the great hands. I believe Bartechko got the only assist, so that's his 3rd assist. And the Slovak line has accounted for 3 of the 4 goals that have been scored by the St. Louis Blues here. And now the Blues will go to work to continue the goose egg that's on the board for Roman Turek.
And Bartechko did it right there too, Dave. He was the one carrying the puck out of the zone. He knew that the net was empty. He moved over. He was on his backhand. He could have taken the shot. He knows Dimitra's coming up, has a chance to do something on his forehand, and he waited and gave the puck to Dimitra. And look what happened with it. Wow, unbelievable talent.
4 other NHL goalies came into action today with 5 shutouts along with Roman Turek. He's looking to take the lead in that department by himself. He already leads the National Hockey League in goals against average. And we get a hand pass. Let's go back to the for one of the top 3 seeds. And that puts even more importance on the Anaheim game against the San Jose Sharks. Less than a minute left in this one. Perrier could not get a stick on it. Nordstrom put it into the Blues zone. It's recovered, though, by Bergevin, and he hands it off, and the Blues will just clear.
Well, Roman Turek has done a terrific job in making all the saves that he's had for the St. Louis Blues. But, I mean, the Slovak line has put on quite a show again. They've been double shifted a couple of times. Bartechko's done his fair share. He's made a lot of smart plays tonight, and because of it, he's got 3 assists. He's working with some pretty talented guys. Handzus, outstanding. 2 goals. His defensive play, his overall play, terrific as well. And Pavel Dimitra, I mean, just really topped it off with that empty netter on the top shelf. He can't get any better than that.
Blues win the draw again as Jamal Mayers just jams it back into the Kings zone. Last half minute of this one. St. Louis Blues are going to get road win number 24. That'll be just 4 off the NHL record that was set last season by the New Jersey Devils.
And again, with the lead, I mean, they absolutely shut things down. The Kings, try as they might, just couldn't get any flow or consistency going to their offensive game at all. And they're one of the better offensive teams in the league.
Puck gets cleared by the Blues. And the final seconds tick off the clock with the LA Kings just backing up with the puck into their own zone. And so Roman Turek gets his 6th shutout of the season, and for the first time this year, the LA Kings failed to score a goal. Final score, the Blues 4 and the LA Kings nothing. Coming up, a reminder, Saturday